Hi guys, you know when you're decluttering and everything's going smoothly? Like, ooh, I absolutely love this item, so I'm going to keep it. This item, oh, I spent a lot of money on it, but I'll never really use it, so this one I'm going to sell. This one makes me feel happy just looking at it, so I'm going to keep it. This item, oh, it was cool, but I'll never really use it. So this one I'll donate so somebody else can use it. This item makes me feel fabulous, so I'll keep it. This item. Okay, so I like it, but I don't love it. If I saw it in a store, I wouldn't buy it again. But I've already bought it and I've paid good money for it. Maybe the right occasional arise that I could actually use it. But no, you know what? I just don't even want it. So I'm gonna, no. Because what if that occasion arises that I could actually use it and then I'll regret getting rid of it? So I'll just put it in the maybe pile. When you come across these items, it's a little bit frustrating and it slows down the flow of decluttering. And it's generally not a good feeling because maybe items signify indecision. There's a quote, "The things that you own end up owning you," from Fight Club. And when we come across maybes, it does really feel that way. We know we probably don't need it, but it's hard to let go of. So in this video, I'm going to give you advice on letting go of maybe items that might give you more confidence and clarity in the decision-making process. Hi, my name's Mika and I'm a writer and I own a small professional organizing business. I'm currently writing a book series for the home and I'm working on the decluttering book. So as I write, I share some of what I worked on for the week on this channel. And this week I wrote about maybe items. So the thing about maybe items is if you have to think about it, there's something in your subconscious where it's not quite right for you. If you loved it or needed it or regularly used it, or if it made your life better in some way, you wouldn't be questioning it. So if it's a maybe, it's generally a no. So our minds will search for ridiculous reasons to keep things. There are a few ways to look at this, psychologically or energetically. Psychologically speaking, there's a term called loss aversion where humans are hardwired to avoid losses, even if the gains we experience are more beneficial than the losses. So for example, if you get rid of a bunch of sweaters that you have no use for and won't ever wear, you'll gain a lot of storage space in your closet. Then you've gotten rid of something that you don't need, and then you also gain that storage space. So it's like a win-win situation. Logically speaking, it makes sense. But when we bring loss aversion into the equation, we doubt ourselves and have a subconscious pull not to lose that item. So if you're second guessing, you probably just don't really need or even actually want it. And it's just loss aversion that's holding you back. Another way to look at it is energetically. Clutter is usually stagnant or stuck energy. It's heavy energy and it's sticky energy, so it wants to stay put where it is. It's hard for us to let go of the ties with clutter, but once you do, you remove that kind of energy from your space and stuff's meant to be used, so then you could let go of that item so then it'll have a second home and then it could have like fresh, vibrant energy somewhere else. I have a huge curiosity about maybe items, and actually when I work with clients it's interesting because they're really good about not creating too many maybe items. So the times that there have been maybe items, I generally follow up because I'm curious to see what happened. So a month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, I'll either see the client again or give them a call and I'll ask, hey, did you ever wear that sweater that you put in the maybe pile? Hey, did you ever wear those shoes or those art supplies that you thought you might need? Did you ever use them? I legitimately think over the years, every single follow-up call that I've had has said no to using the maybe items. And then say if we have multiple sessions where I go back and declutter later, oftentimes we end up getting rid of those maybe items, either donating or reselling them. In fact, there's 2 motivating stories that I could tell you, but basically one of the coolest and biggest lessons that I've seen about stuff is one of my clients had bought a house. So it was a couple that their children had grown and moved out of the house. So they had this big house that they were living in, and it was just the two of them now. It's the husband and the wife. And so they said, we're going to just move into a smaller house. So they decided to buy a new house, and I remember we packed up everything. We piled it in the garage, and then a moving company came and took all these boxes of all this stuff. And then she put it into a storage unit, something between her house selling and the other house being available. They had to put it in a storage unit for the interim. And I think it was just going to be for about 2 months. So we packed almost everything up like she was going to move and just kept her favorites and her necessities there. A lot of her favorites remained. A lot of her clothes, their favorite dishware, all their office supplies and things like that. It was just the excess that went. So she told me she might call me when they've moved into their new home. So then about 6 months later, she called me, and I thought she had already moved in, and she said, no, the house actually fell through. And she said, we are not going to move yet. We're still looking for a new home to move to. So then she told me, all this stuff that we've packed up has been in storage, and she's like, you know what, I haven't missed one thing. She did miss one thing. It was a turkey pan for Thanksgiving, where she had to go and buy a replacement because it was somewhere in the boxes in the storage. But she said otherwise she missed nothing, and it felt really good not to have all that extra stuff around. So instead, the moving company brought back the boxes from the storage, and she said before she moves into her new house, she just wants to have a garage sale and get rid of like most of that stuff. And she ended up selling almost everything. Out of, say, like 40-50 boxes, I think they kept like 5 boxes worth. But it was pretty cool because imagine 40 to 50 boxes of stuff that she had just sent to storage for 6 months, and then she realized she only missed one thing, which was the turkey pan, and then she ended up buying the new one. So we did. I ended up helping her unpack, and then she had this awesome garage sale, and to me it was just fascinating. And at one point I sold almost everything that I owned to go travel. I wanted to go do a around the world trip for a year, and so instead of putting my stuff in storage, I sold everything one by one, and at the end I donated a lot as well. But it was kind of an experiment to see how much value is in a home, like secondhand. I just wanted to do an experiment on it, and it was really interesting because I had a 1-bedroom apartment and I got it down into 4 boxes, and it doesn't sound like much when I say it, but you know, sometimes even decluttering and getting rid of all the clothes in your closet is hard. Imagine like almost everything that you own, your whole entire apartment. It was a lot of decision making. It was a lot of work. I was going to sell all these different things also to fund my trip. And anyways, out of everything that I let go of, I only missed one thing, which was like a red clutch, because I had a kind of fancy event to go to before I left overseas. I was thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't have sold that clutch. But it was just a clutch, and I did without. And out of everything that I sold and donated, I only missed one thing. And actually, would I even want that clutch now? Probably not. So I think we sometimes get caught up in, oh, what if we'll miss that thing? But a possession really is just a possession. And although possessions are important, the occasion rarely comes up. When it comes to a maybe item, the occasion rarely comes up that you will, in fact, need it again. So the thing is this, if we really like something, we'll know. We won't even consider getting rid of it. It wouldn't even go into the maybe item pile. If we really need it, we'll definitely know. And if we're questioning it, it probably just means that we're dealing with loss aversion. There's somebody that I know who has a great optimistic outlook on life, and then also lives in a small bungalow. And whenever you go to her house, it just has a really good feeling. And I asked her if she ever has a issue with clutter, and she says she does like a quarterly or semi-annual purge, and she also doesn't bring in too much stuff. But she said she never deals much with maybe items because she said her philosophy is that if it's supposed to be in our lives, that it'll make its way back to us, so don't worry too much. So trust if it's something that you truly need, which it probably wouldn't be if it's a maybe item, but it'll make its way back to you later. Now for any maybe items that you're struggling with, the best thing to do is to use the item. If it's a book, read the book. See if you get enjoyment out of it. The best thing to do is to use it now. So clothes are great because instead of trying the clothes on, you should actually wear it for the day and see how you feel. If you don't feel great, then that's an indication that it's probably time to let the item go. So for some items like ball gowns, you can't really do that with, but this should help with the rest of your closet. For maybe items for clothes, what I tell clients to do is whenever we have some maybe items, to hang it up in a specific area of their closet, and then to make sure that they attempt to wear each item that week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or however many maybe items that you have. And I've done it myself before, where if I have a couple maybe items, I hang it up in my closet and I'm like, I have to wear this today or this week. And I never feel great in them. That's why they're maybe items, and then I let go of them. But I force myself to, will I wear this to the office today? Will I want to wear this to go out for a walk and run errands into the supermarket? And it's like, I don't really feel great in it. So that's that maybe item. And it eventually ends up going to my donation or sell pile. So try to use your items, and that can give you a clearer answer right there. So maybe items could also be rooted in a fear of the future. The fear of not having enough or not having the right options show up when you need them. If you believe in the law of attraction or the psychological term of the self-fulfilling prophecy, then that can mean you're creating scarcity in your life. By holding on to things that we don't need or even want, we clog up our time and our energy and our storage space, and that might lead to missed opportunities somehow. Also, it's considered a universal law that to receive, you must give. So when we're unwilling to let go of the things that we don't need or even want, it takes up our mental and emotional energy and the space in our home, which leads to that popular sentiment, I don't have enough storage space. And holding on to these things takes up not only energy, but time. When we let go of the things that we don't need, we create room and space for new opportunities to come into our lives. There's also another method that you can use for maybe items, is that you could tuck those maybe items away and put them totally out of sight, and if you haven't used them in 6 months or a year, you can let them go. So this method, I'm not like a huge fan of it. Do it if you need to, because yes, after 6 months or a year, you'll have more clarity and those items will become a little bit more obvious. But I think most of the time with this method, it just delays our decision making. So this is up to the individual. If you have the space to do so, tuck those items away and out of sight, and hopefully you'll have more clarity in 6 months or a year when you reopen those items. Or some people even say don't even look at the items and just let them go if you haven't missed them. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to do. So that's something you can try, but I think trying to wear those items right now and make decisions right now and face those things head on is a lot better for you in the long run. So if sometimes you're unsure or you end up with quite a few maybe items, I hope that this video was helpful. I'm going to leave you with another tip, and just something to keep in mind is if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And here's also another video that you can watch if you find yourself ending up with many maybe items. I've also linked this video in the description below, but these are 5 terms that you should know when you declutter because it'll give you a leg up. I wish you luck with your decluttering and many more videos to come like this. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button. And thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.